Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. I call the August 13th, 2024 meeting of the DuPage County Board to order. I invite everyone to stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Member LaPlante, will you please lead the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now invite Pastor Avani Christian from the New Hope United Methodist Church of West Chicago to lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we come before you today, seeking your wisdom, guidance, and strength as we gather to serve our community. Grant us the clarity to discern the needs of those we represent, the courage to stand for what is right, and the humility to listen to each other with open hearts. Help us to remember that we are called to serve all people, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. May our decisions reflect compassion, justice, and a commitment to the common goal. Guide our words and actions so that they may foster unity, peace, and progress. Bless this assembly. Bless each one of us as we make decisions that may come to fruition as we live in unity. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Mr. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Cahill. Here. Chaplin.
Here.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. Yu.
Here.
And Zay.
Okay, I'd like to invite Member LaPlante and Lori Chassie to the podium. Today we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Community Development Block Grant Program. Member LaPlante serves as Vice Chair of the Community Development Commission with Lori Chassie, and Lori Chassie serves as a Community Development Commission Executive Committee Chair, providing leadership and oversight of DuPage's CBDG grant programs. This federal program provides dollars to DuPage County to develop viable communities with grants for housing and expanding economic opportunity in low and moderate income communities. Allow me to read the proclamation, and then I'll ask you both to say a few words. Okay. Whereas the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program has operated since 1974 to provide local governments with resources to support the needs of low and moderate income residents and neighborhoods. And whereas the CDBG program provides annual flexible funding to local communities to assist in providing decent, safe, and sanitary housing, a suitable living environment, and economic opportunities. And whereas since 1975, DuPage County and its municipal partners have directed $146 million in CDBG funding to projects providing infrastructure improvements, public services, single-family rehabilitation, and other public facility improvements throughout the county. And whereas in 2023, CDBG funds assisted 17 homeowners to address health and safety concerns, one nonprofit to rehabilitate a facility serving low and moderate income families, 5 units of local government to improve streets, sewer lines, water mains, and street lights serving low-income census tracts, and 4 nonprofit agencies to provide public service to assist residents with housing needs. And whereas DuPage County acknowledges the critical value of the CDBG program and the significant projects that rely on its funds for support. And whereas August 22nd, 2024 has been reserved for recognition and appreciation of the 50th anniversary of the CDBG program. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah A. Conroy, Chair of the DuPage County Board, and members of the County Board do hereby proclaim August 22nd, 2024 as Community Development Block Grant Day in DuPage County. Celebrate the CDBG program's 50th and encourage support of CDBG program to support our residents' quality of life. Do I have a motion? All in favor?
Thank you so much. I just want to take a moment to thank the county board for creating the structure to enable us to support so many needed services on behalf of all of the municipalities here in DuPage County. I need to thank the staff here who work tirelessly to see that that happens in a timely and efficient manner. And lastly, I need to thank all of our not-for-profit partners for providing such needed services to so many members of our community. Thank you very much.
Very well said, Lori, and I would just like to echo that. Happy 50th birthday to the CDBG grant program. I really feel like they should have rolled out a cake that we could have all jumped out of, but maybe at the 100th anniversary. I too would like to thank our staff, Mary Keating and Julie Hamlin. Thank you so much for all of the work. This is part of most of my favorite work that we do on the board. It's so imperative that we focus on those in our community who have needs that can be addressed, that we can help them. So this is such a wonderful committee where we can feel and see the tangible results of our work here as public servants. I can't think of a better committee, and I'm so proud to serve on it. I do love also our community and municipality partners. That's a wonderful way to construct this community too. County board members and our municipal partners, and also all of our non-for-profits. Thank you for everything you do. We are here to serve you and to help you in all of the beautiful and amazing work you do for the people of DuPage County. What an honor. Thank you so much. Here's to 50 more years.
Okay. On the matter of public comment, according to our county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes in length, nor shall the total time provided for all remarks exceed 30 minutes. Our state's attorney will call the names of those who have signed to speak.
Tom Petrovich.
Hi, my name's Tom Butkovich. I've been here about 3 months ago requesting that you raise the threshold on the senior freeze for property taxes. This is impossible to do at $65,000 gross. I spend, between myself and my wife, we get $45,000 on Social Security and about $15,000 on an annuity. Okay, here's where it goes. Health insurance has gone up 20% this year. Our homeowners insurance has gone up 20%. Food and heating costs, easily 30%. Spend $350 per month that comes out of Social Security just for Part B. $320 per month for the two of us for supplemental insurance. $20 a month for Part D. $400 per month for property taxes. $150 per month for the two vehicles we own for auto insurance. $140 per year, I should say, per month for homeowners insurance. $300 at least for utilities, that's including phone. This doesn't include fuel, prescriptions, food, any incidentals I have. Now, I had to take out a $10,000 withdrawal from my IRA to pay for my teeth. That put me over the threshold. So now my taxes are gonna go up. I'm at the poverty level at this point. I've never taken one iota of money from the government. I've always worked. I never took unemployment. I served my country. I just don't understand where this is going. I've been here before. Nobody seems to want to do anything. You could raise the threshold or at least change it to net income. It never seems to end. Why am I paying for DuPage Airport? That makes no sense. The only tax that has ever gone down is our Township Roadway Commission. That's gone down probably 10% over the last 5 years. So it seems the only one, he's the only one who can seem to get it together. And our roads are perfect in our township. I'm unincorporated, thank God. Otherwise I'd be paying over $12,000 a year in property taxes if I was living in the town of West Chicago. I don't know what more to ask from you people besides that. When's it gonna end? When are we gonna get a break? Do I have to fill up this place with a bunch of seniors? Maybe then something will happen? How long does this take? It's a very simple vote. Bring it up to $75,000 or $80,000 or change it to a net income.
Sir,
not a
your
gross.
3 minutes is up.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Adrian Talley?
Madam Chairwoman, County Board members, thank you for allowing me to speak for a couple of minutes about something that is very important, and that is mental health support for our students. My name is Adrian Talley, and I'm the proud superintendent of Indian Prairie School District, the 4th largest district in Illinois. A few years ago, we had several students who spoke at a Board of Ed meeting. These students had just come from a wake for a peer of theirs who had died by suicide. Each of these students spoke about the need for more mental health supports in their schools. As much as our counselors are working to meet the needs of the children, there was and is still a need for more support. We heard their call. We were able, through a $500,000 grant from Endeavor Health, formerly known as Edward Elmhurst, to create mental health clinics that provided free mental health therapy sessions for our students. We were able to eliminate the barriers associated with receiving help. Those barriers included the time associated with waiting for a therapist and also the cost associated. These therapy sessions have been, for many of our children and their families, life-changing. For parents who have been trying to help, we have given them the help, almost immediate help. Rather than having to wait for weeks and months, our children have been connected to a therapist within a week and sessions starting immediately. For families who are underinsured, we have removed the financial barrier. For our students, they are getting the help they need and are getting the skills for mental well-being. As a district, we have been fortunate for grants we have received to support our mental health initiatives. For 2 years now, we have had these clinics. We wish for them to continue. I know that some have expressed concerns that if we can spend the money in a short period of time. Dr. Bell, my grant specialist, and I are two people who never return grant money. Once it has been given to us, we spend it in an efficient and effective manner. We always have a plan and currently have a plan to spend the money in a very quick way. If given the funds, we would be able to stand up our program again within a short window of time. I will end my comments by saying that children cannot learn if they are not mentally and socially well. Our mental health supports help our children gain the mental wellness so that they can achieve at the highest level possible. Your grant, when you choose to give it to us, helps our families, helps our children. I ask that you be our partner in our goal for supporting our children. DuPage cares. Thank you.
Ross Hank? Ross Hank? Dennis Wisnoster?
Morning. My name is Dennis Wisnowski. I'm a resident of Naperville for 40-some years. I'm the vice president of Will Bees. I have bees in Will County, and I have had bees in Naperville also. I have read all the evidence presented against this resolution. As an engineer and scientist, I see nothing factual there at all. The honeybees, one of the points that they make, are not native. Neither are we. We have not killed this country. We won't. If honeybees were really seriously damaging native populations, they've been here for 400 years. How inefficient must they be? In 400 years, they haven't killed all the bumblebees, all the other bees that we also need. In my paper I sent to many of you today, I presented a scientific evidence chart that shows that honeybees are about 17% of the pollinators and always have been. That 17% is what our environment can sustain. The problem we have is in this county, not so much because we have so much green area, but in many parts of the country, the place where any kind of bee can live is being greatly diminished. That's the problem. Insecticides and pesticides. Below that is natural competition among all these insects. Honeybees are where they are, and I'd like to keep them that way in DuPage County. Thank you.
Bill Whitney.
Hello, I'm Bill Whitney. Thank you, board, for allowing me to speak to you. I am a professional beekeeper. I'm also a board member for the Cook-DuPage Beekeepers Association, but I'm talking to you as a private citizen and a hobbyist beekeeper, which I was for the majority of my 32 years as a beekeeper. Help us live a healthy lifestyle. And the reason I say it in that way is, and actually you can find out why I'm saying this, come to our August 17th meeting where we have a scientist and a researcher who is studying and documenting why honey and hive products are so healthy for the human body. August 17th, Cook-DuPage Beekeepers Association, 6:30 the meeting starts. Nevertheless, everyone is becoming more aware of our food and how it affects our bodies. We've gotten out of kilter in the United States, and people want to get back to more raw or natural or organic foods, and honey happens to be a very valuable component of that diet. Unfortunately, we have a government that is not adequately policing the honey that's coming into our country. There's a lot of adulterated honey. There's a lot of misinformation on the web about what you can do with honey. There's a lot of hot honey. There's things that people are doing with it, and it's diminishing its properties. But raw honey on its own is very healthy for the human body. It heals the human body where modern medicine has not been able to do that. And as a private citizen, I want to be able to add that to my diet in a way that I can understand that this is the real product. It's not being adulterated. I am managing it, and I'm utilizing a product that is very healthy for human beings. Thank you.
PJ Salties. PJ Salties. Keith Miser. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. This was PJ.
Sorry, I was sitting in the back and I couldn't hear you. Give me 1 second. I got to bring my notes up. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Pete Soltez. I'm the president of the Cook-DuPage Beekeepers Association, and I started keeping bees when I was about this high, okay? And I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you. I'm a veteran. I went to the Naval Academy. I studied systems engineering. I am, as I mentioned, the president of the Beekeeping Association. My partner has a company, Illinois Bee Rescue. And every day, all summer long, we receive calls from homeowners, from business owners about flying, stinging insects. Honeybees, bumblebees, carpenter bees, mason bees, sweat bees, you name it, okay, that have encroached upon their living space and they need help relocating them. So we have a little bit of experience in dealing with these types of things. And I'd like to share a few thoughts with you on the opposition to beekeeping, on some things I've heard. This notion that the honeybee is an invasive species, it's ridiculous, okay? They found fossil, in case you don't know, there's fossil evidence of the honeybee in the United States in the shale plains of Nevada. You can look up Dr. Michael Engel at UC Kansas. He's a paleontologist, entomologist. What does that mean? What's the implication of that? It means the honeybee's been on this continent since the beginning of time, okay? And the honeybee's been competing against other insects since that same beginning of time. Now, it went extinct at some point, or we don't know why, okay? But I can tell you that, you know, today's honeybee, if you were to trace its DNA, has its origins in Europe, in Asia, and in Africa to that extent. And so the idea that, you know, it's an invasive species and doesn't belong, I think should be summarily dismissed, okay? The second idea is that resources are scarce, okay? If resources are scarce for our pollinators, then shame on us, not shame on the honeybee, okay? We should be looking at how much pesticides we're spraying, herbicides we're spraying, fungicides we're spraying, true green, you know, why do we have green lawns when we could put pollinator prairies, you know, around buildings such as this? That's what the board needs to be focusing on. You know, there's a time after World War, you know, actually a couple hundred years ago, where nearly every home had a beehive in its backyard. Did you know that? And the bumblebees and sweat bees and mason bees, all those native bees seem to do fine just then. Couple more points. I know I'm running short on time. I want to respect everyone. Honeybees are generalists. And native bees are specialists. In other words, the native bees need a very specific diet of pollen that they seek.
Sir, your 3 minutes is up.
Well, listen, I want to say thank you. Appreciate the time to come here and love to talk to you again. Bye-bye.
Keith Meiser?
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm Keith Meiser. I'm also a beekeeper. Been keeping bees since 1972. I'm a member of Cook DuPage Beekeepers Association, and the ordinance is basically expanding the availability of beekeeping in unincorporated DuPage County. So I'll keep it narrowly to that. And also, the opposition to the ordinance is that honeybees are bad. They're bad for everything, especially bumblebees. Now, the opposition is focused on the rusty patched bumblebee because it has shown declines. Well, there's many reasons for that, and none of, I'll quote from a book. It's Bumblebees of North America from, sorry, I can't see, Princeton University Press. Okay, threats to bumblebees, number one, habitat loss. That is, look at your parking lot out here and tell me how many native bees can live in there. None. Insecticide use, that's their number two. Climate change. And then this is something that the opposition was heavy on, pathogen spillover to bumblebees, or because they concentrated on this bee. And most of you are probably unaware that there is a commercial trade in bumblebees, specifically for pollinating inside of greenhouses for mainly tomatoes in the US and Europe. They're shipped across the ocean There's pathogen spillover there. There's pathogens that have been identified in the source of these bumblebees. And I'll read out of here, there's pathogen spillover. The decline of some bumblebee species has been linked to the density of vegetable greenhouses in Canada and the United States. The severity of pathogen spillover from managed to wild bumblebees has not been yet fully understood, but the phenomenon is thought to have contributed to the dramatic declines of Bombus affinis. That's the scientific name of the rusty-patched bumblebee. Also, a little farther down, introduction of exotic invasive species. I'll quote, "The European honeybee Apis mellifera was introduced in North America centuries ago and probably has little to do with declines in bumblebee species. Bumblebee species also are parasiticized by other bumblebee species that simply go into their nest, take over the queen, lay their eggs. They don't gather any pollen or do any pollinating. And then the parent colony that they've invaded is completely changed into their colony, kind of like the cowbirds, if you're acquainted with that, throw the eggs out of the nest. And that also adds to the decline. Another thing that might not be known is bumblebees nest in rodent nest, abandoned rodent nest. Normally like mouse nests or
Sir, your 3 minutes is up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I vote for it.
Nina Patel.
I was actually here to speak about Medina development, but I hear that it's been pulled. Is that correct? Yes? All right. Thank you so much.
Tara Bell.
Chair Conway and County Board members, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you again. I also public commented this morning during the Finance Committee member. And for the beekeepers in the room, as a science teacher, I co-authored a peer-reviewed article about the benefits of students working with cockroaches. But that is not why I'm here today. As a Mattia Valley High School teacher, I was involved in the creation of the after-school mental health program called Indian Prairie Cares, along with our superintendent, Dr. Adrian Talley, chief architect of the program, and Amit Thaker, founder of Referral GPS. We are all here today. As a former state employee who dealt with issuing state contracts and grants and conducting site visits and audits, I appreciated the discussion this morning brought up by members about grant compliance. As a resident in a Deloitte, then Accenture household, I share your commitment to accounting practices and transparency with public funds. Our project, Indian Prairie Cares, has proven itself to have an amazing ROI with very little seed money. We have become a successful model for delivering after-school, no-cost mental health care to low-income students that have been most impacted by the pandemic. Last year, our school received an IDPH grant to provide free after-school mental health services to high school students. And we were blessed to receive $250,000 of pandemic funds from Governor Pritzker, which unfortunately expired June 30th. With those funds, we delivered 903 50-minute, no-cost after-school therapy sessions to low-income high school students. The CARES model is unique because it gets kids help fast, and it's all free, and they are connected through our referral service, Referral GPS, with a local therapist the same week. An impressive ROI. Post-appointment surveys indicated that families rated the quality of treatment provided by our program as 4.8 out of 5, and 100% recommended continuing the CARES program in the future. If you know a teenager, I'm sure you'll agree that COVID changed everything, and there is an unprecedented need for mental health support for our students post-pandemic due to trauma, isolation, and anxiety, and those needs unfortunately did not end June 30th with our grant funding source. We ask you to please include our proposal in any discussions of ARPA funds and continue to help us fund the CARES program at Mattia Valley to provide an additional 38 weeks of services totaling 874 after-school free therapy sessions for low-income students. School starts next week, and we have no other funding source to continue the program. In your packet, you'll see a detailed description of our program budget and letter of support from our principal. You have the power to decide whether 2,800 students, of which 763 are low income, have access to after-school mental health care. Rest assured, Indian Prairie will commit all ARPA funds, if we're so allotted, in accordance with the 12/31/24 deadline. Regardless of the outcome, we wish to thank Matia's County Board Rep, Member Guston, and Ms. Chang for their support, and we want all constituents to know that these ladies are strong advocates for education, mental health, and wellness within the county. Thank you.
Dr. Adrian Talley. Two. Okay. I think this person spoke too, but I have another one for Amit Baker.
Thank you. For those of you guys that were here at Finance Board this morning, you're going to hear me again, so I apologize for the repetitiveness. But my name is Amit Thakur. I work at Referral GPS, which essentially is a connection company to help people get connected into mental health care. If you yourself or a loved one has ever struggled in trying to figure out where to go, you know how difficult it is. I've worked in healthcare for the greater part of 20 years, both at Edward Hospital, Linden Oaks Hospital, and a number of other acute care institutions. And so I feel like I'm familiar enough to know the acronyms of healthcare. When I had to try and look for some help for my child who's 6 years old, I had difficulty in figuring out where to go to. So I can only imagine some of the families who don't have 20 years and working in the system, who understand the acronyms and understand how insurance works, and they're struggling with a mental health crisis either for themselves or for someone else to figure out just where do I go? What's the next step? And what we hear over and over again is there's a wait list. This person doesn't take my insurance. I don't know where to start. I don't know what I need. And half the time I don't want to talk to someone else about this because mental health, particularly when you're having an issue, is not a casserole disease that people come over and say, can I make you dinner? I know you're going through a hard time. It's something that you suffer with, oftentimes suffering in silence until you have someone that can help you kind of figure out what your next steps are. And that's what we've done with the CARES program. That's what we hope to continue to do. I know you guys have a lot of priorities, and every one of them has a lot of merit. It's hard for me to stand up here when there's so many other priorities that are also just as equally important, if not more. It's really up to you guys to determine where you want to put your effort and where you want to be able to see some of these programs flourish. We'd like to continue our program as the CARES program to help people continue to get connected into care, not only really for Mattia Valley, but all areas in DuPage County is a vision that we'd love to be able to see. I know we've talked about Willowbrook Corner and a lot of areas that have a drastic need that we'd love to see this expanded into. It really starts with you guys supporting kind of the expansion of this CARES program. So I appreciate you guys having enough time to listen to our stories today. My colleagues at Indian Prairie have really given you a lot of the data, right? What have we done? I want to give you just 2 seconds of a story. Recently, we had a family reach out to us after a tragic incident. 2 siblings in that family had lost their parents in a tragic car accident that occurred. Obviously, a tragic car accident like that is completely unplanned. Luckily enough, their grandparents lived close enough and custody went to them. Well, the grandparents are in complete disarray, right? This is not something they ever planned. They're grieving and mourning the loss of their children. Now, at the same time, becoming parents well into their mid-60s, early 70s. They're trying to figure all of it out. And it's hard enough. I'm a parent of 2 kids right now, a 6 and an 8-year-old, and I have difficulty keeping up. So I can.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Sorry. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
If the board has received public comment via our online portal, per board policy, those comments were provided to members yesterday so they could be reviewed. Comments submitted electronically will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Okay. lot of exciting things going on today. I'd like to start by inviting Member Schwarzy and DuPage Foundation CEO Mike Citrick to the podium. Okay. Today, we celebrate DuPage area nonprofit groups providing essential help to our residents in need in the areas of mental health and substance use disorder, housing, and food insecurity. Due to the investment of the County Board, our DuPage Community Transformation Partnership with DuPage Foundation will award more than $1 million in immediate intervention grants this morning to help 16 DuPage community organizations on the front lines providing vital services. I want to thank Human Services Chairman Greg Schwarzy and Vice Chair Paula Deacon Garcia, and the DuPage Foundation's Committee Chair Megan Seebeck and CEO Mike Citrick for supporting and leading the grant application and process. And now I'll turn it over to Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. The immediate intervention grants that we are giving out today are important components of the overall DuPage Community Transformation Partnership. This partnership was established in February of 2022 when the DuPage County Board granted $10.6 million in federal American Rescue Plan Act funds to the foundation to develop and manage the grant program. To date, $6.2 million has been awarded to support the immediate and long-term needs of the community in response to the COVID-19 health emergency. Through this program, we as partners, the DuPage County Board and our grant committee, have the opportunity to change lives and address the most pressing needs in our county. Our ability to collaborate so effectively leads to today's grant awards. I'll turn it over to Mike Citrick.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I want to start off by thanking Greg, Paula, Chair Conroy, and all of you for your investment in our community in this partnership. The County and DuPage Foundation share a common interest in leading efforts to address our community's greatest challenges and opportunities. Today, the needs of our most vulnerable neighbors continue to grow, with more than 1 in 4 households struggling to meet basic needs as mental health and substance abuse challenges persist without boundaries. Reversing these trends is difficult work, but it is possible through cooperation between public and private sectors and individual residents, and we are so fortunate to be blessed with the will, desire, knowledge, and resources here in DuPage to create lasting change. Your $10 million investment in the DCTP, leadership on the creation of the new Crisis Recovery Center, and the other grants you've made are proof of your deep commitment to community transformation. And I'm pleased to share that our partnership has inspired others to join in the cause. Of the $1 million being awarded today, $100,000 has been leveraged from foundation donors in support of this. It's also spurred the creation of 2 new foundation initiatives, a countywide giving circle currently in development to engage area businesses, foundations, and other partners in our annual grant making and community endowment building, and a new funders collaborative for DuPage consisting to date of more than 20 area foundations, businesses, and governmental representatives, along with major donors who wish to dig in to work together on these deeper issues in our community and address them. So this is coordinated impact in action, and I just again want to thank all of you for your continued partnership and investment. We so appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. This morning, we will invite grantees from each category to the podium, present the awards with Megan and Paul's help, and then we will take a group photo. Megan and Paula, please, can you join us at the podium? I'll begin with the mental health and substance use disorder category. Would the grantees in this category please join me here at the podium? The organizations will receive immediate intervention grant awards for 2024. Those are Alive Center, DuPage Health Coalition, Easter Seals, DuPage and Fox Valley, Mercy Housing Lakefront, NAMI DuPage, Samara Care, Congratulations all. Okay. I would like to ask everyone to please remain here, and I'd like to ask Mike to continue.
Thanks, Chair Conroy. This morning we'll invite grantees. The organizations receiving immediate intervention grant awards in the housing sector for 2024 are Catholic Charities, DuPage Pads, ICNA Relief, Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans, We Go Together for Kids, and finally, World Relief Chicagoland. Congratulations to all. Greg, would you please do final count? Turn over to you, Greg.
Okay, thank you, Mike. The organizations receiving immediate intervention grants awards addressing food insecurity for 2024 are the DuPage Senior Citizens Council, Hope's Front Door, Milton Township Food Pantry, and People's Resource Center. And I would like to welcome Jenny Fabian, the CEO of the People's Resource Center, to speak on behalf of all our immediate intervention grant awardees.
Thank you. I'm Jenny Fabian, CEO of People's Resource Center. It is amazing to be here with such impactful colleagues, and I'm honored to be invited to share a few words. PRC is based in Wheaton and serves neighbors across DuPage County with emergency food and empowerment programs. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and emerging from it, our neighbors across DuPage have needed immediate responsive help and ongoing support as they seek to strengthen their lives. We are so grateful for the ways DuPage County and the Immediate Intervention Partnership have stepped up to strengthen our collective capacity to respond. As an organization that works in the Emergency Food Network, the DuPage Community Partnership has been pivotal to PRC's success. When the COVID-19 pandemic began, PRC and our partner food organizations responded to record numbers of requests for services. The infrastructure of the entire emergency food system was dramatically strained. We all dug deep and recommitted. I hope I'm not only speaking for me, I'm confident of that for this group. We all dug deep and recommitted to responding when neighbors needed food. Many of us immediately realized that key investments like facility upgrades, fresh food sourcing, and food rescue vehicles were going to be necessary to strengthen our capacity to respond today and continue responding to future needs. During this time, many of us have made significant improvements to our infrastructure. PRC currently has an expansion underway just down the road in Wheaton to make our emergency food network even more resilient. This grant cycle has assisted PRC to replace an aging food truck, thereby deepening our capacity to transport large donations of fresh produce to supply our new larger pantry in Wheaton, and we thank you. We applaud the County Board and the Transformation Partnership for your dedication to understanding and strengthening the emergency food network and all emergency services across DuPage. Many County Board members, many of you, have visited our organizations to learn what we're hearing from our neighbors and to understand how we're improving. We are so grateful for your time, your interest, and your commitment to the impact for all DuPage residents. The pandemic was truly a life-changing event. Our neighbors have been so profoundly impacted and each of our organizations is learning how we can be better, and we're learning in real time. Each of the organizations here is seeing continued high demand, often with deep and extremely complex issues emerging from the pandemic. When we welcome a neighbor who's seeking food, so often those conversations turn into needs for housing, mental health resources, job assistance. Everything that comes up for our neighbors connects all of us. We are taking care of our neighbors here in DuPage, and we're collaborating even more closely with one another. Today's award and the entire Transformation Partnership have invested in our collective capacity to do that better, whether we're addressing food security, mental health, housing, or substance abuse disorders. From all of us here and from the diverse communities we serve, thank you so much for your commitment.
Thank you, Jenny. Today, this board has addressed critical needs in our community with the distribution of these grants. I ask our grantees and foundation board representatives to join us for a photo with our very large check representing the more than $1 million award.
Craig, you're definitely taller than me.
Okay, thanks to all our grantees for attending today, and once again, congratulations. Okay. Well, it's great to be back together after a few weeks off in July. I've missed you all. And it's particularly gratifying to kick off my remarks reviewing the very positive financial news the county has recently received. As I informed the board in late July, DuPage County is now rated AAA by all three bond rating agencies. Fitch Ratings, absolutely. Fitch Ratings did a comprehensive review of the counties after revising and updating their own rating criteria, as they do periodically. I was thrilled to receive the news that Fitch joined S&P and Moody's by rating DuPage as AAA. It was definitely one of the most jubilant phone calls I've had from our CFO, Jeff Martinovich. He provided details regarding the long interview he completed with the analysis from Fitch. It's clear he was very persuasive when speaking with our rating agencies. Thank you, Jeff. This morning, you also heard about our clean audit report from our external auditing firm, Baker Tilly. This is also very welcome news. AAA bond ratings and clean audits don't happen by accident. Responsibly managing our county's finances is one of my top priorities as chair. DuPage County is a leader in county financial management, and I want us to continue to be a role model for others. So as leaders, we must also heed the warning of Baker Tilly's auditors when they comment on the financial practices in the county clerk's office. Baker Tilly raised concerns regarding issues that have concerned this board, myself, and our county state's attorney and auditor. This issue included questions about the clerk's procurement and bidding practices, as well as the need for the office to adhere to basic government accounting practices that are appropriate and provide transparency. I will quote our external auditors who said, "It is Baker Tilly's recommendation that all county departments and elected officials, including the county clerk, comply with some form of documented procurement procedures and pre-authorization of expenditures which, at a minimum, adheres to applicable county, state, and federal requirements." This is one of the reasons I went to Springfield and worked with leadership to confirm the intent of the General Assembly in its procurement language. The passage of House Bill 5511 makes the fiscal and financial management responsibilities of all countywide elected officials crystal clear. No room for doubt. Ensuring fiscal responsibility takes action. It's one of my biggest points of pride as chair. Our finance staff, our department heads, and our employees demonstrate time and time again that they share my vision for fiscal responsibility. I was happy to do my part by changing the law. I am gratified every day to see our county team working together to provide value and transparency for our taxpayers. With the words of our external auditors echoing through this room, I expect the clerk's office to join us, demonstrating financial compliance and teamwork as we enter our next fiscal year. Again, kudos to all those who take action every day by contributing to our sound fiscal practices. We appreciate your efforts. Today, I'll offer a reminder that on August 21st at 9 a.m., we will kick off the Veterans Resource Fair in the auditorium here in the 421 building. Veterans and their families are invited to learn more about services and resources available to them. More than 80 service agencies will be represented. Thanks to Steve Fixler from the Veterans Assistance Commission and recorder Kathy Carrier for sponsoring this event. Please also attend our Mental Health Summit Saturday, September 7th. This is an event we are co-sponsoring with the DuPage County Health Department. We'll offer tours of the drug court program, the mental illness court alleviation program, and provide information about our behavioral health resources offered by the county. Followed by a mental health expo fair. Former Congressman Patrick Kennedy will provide the keynote address around 12 p.m. and we will have a panel discussion with local leaders to follow. Seats are going fast, so please register on the department's website. That's dupagehealth.org, and I hope to see you on September 7th. And board members will find Patrick Kennedy's book. It was a gift from me in appreciation for all the support that this board gives to the mental health community. Okay, on to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved. Second.
Okay. 24/2023 DuPage County regular minutes, Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. 24/1971, 7/5/2024 pay list. 24/1980, 7/9/2024 pay list. 24/1996, 7/10/2024 auto debit pay list. 24/1992, 7/12/2024 pay list. 24/1999, 7/16/2024 pay list. 24/2007, 7/18/24 auto debit pay list. 24/2008, 7/19/2024 pay list. 24/2030, 7/23/2024 pay list. 24/2034, 7/24/2024 Public Works refunds pay list. 24/2038, 7/25/2024 auto debit pay list. 20/2045, 7/26/2024 pay list. 24/2046, 7/26/2024 auto debit pay list. 24/2074, 7/30/2024 pay list. 24/20 2098, 8/1/2024 auto debit pay list, 24/21/11, 8/2/2024 pay list, 24/21/45, 8/6/2024 pay list, 24/19/70, 7/5/2024 Corville wire transfer, 24/19/97, 7/15/2024 IDOR wire transfer, 24/19/74 Clerk's monthly report of receipts and disbursements, June 2024, 24/19/83 Recorder's monthly review statement, June 2024, Treasurer's monthly 24/20/06 Treasurer's monthly investment report, 2024, 24/21/60 Clerk's monthly receipt and distribution, who wants to tell me how, disbursements report for July, thank you, 2024, 24/21/58 change orders to various contracts as specified in the attached packet. All in favor? All right, with an appreciation to Member Ozog and trying to get through all that. Okay, we will move on to County Board and Vice Chair Member Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before I start, I'd like to look at just looking at the names on the County Board of Health. It is going to be really nice, and I see that we're going to be strong on our County Board of Health for years to come, just by the names that I'm going to be announcing. With that said, I'd like to move on. CBR 3824, the appointment of Sam Tantori to the County Board of Health.
Is there any discussion? Okay. Anybody? Do we need to? Okay, anyways, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Yes. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. And Chaplin.
Aye.
Thank you. I'd like to move on CBR 3924, the appointment of Paula
Second
Deacon
most favorable
Garcia
roll.
to the DuPage County Board of Health.
That was quick, no discussion. Leave granted. Member Childress.
I'd like to move on CBR 4024, the appointment of Dr. Nadeem Hassan to the County Board of Health.
Leave is granted. Member Childress.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to move on CBR 4124, the appointment of Dr. Douglas Chang to the DuPage County Board of Health.
Leave is granted. Member Childress.
And finally, I'd like to move on CBR 4224, the appointment of Melinda Fitch to the DuPage County Board of Health.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Childress.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll move on to Finance and Member Liz Chaplin.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair. So I move on FIR 12324, acceptance and appropriation of the National Forensic Science Improvement Program Grant intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $75,000 for the Sheriff's Office.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Yes. Covert. Desart. Aye. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Aye. Garcia. Aye. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. And Cahill.
Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move on FIR 12424, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Human Services Homeless Prevention Grant in the amount of $384,000 community services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move on FIR 012624, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Human Services Rapid Rehousing Program Grant intergovernmental agreement, $89,920 community services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 12724, additional appropriation for the Building, Zoning, and Planning Fund in the amount of $30,700.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 012824, approval of additional funds for the Infrastructure Investment Grant Program Round 2 to provide funding in the amount of $355,180.30 ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 12924, acceptance and appropriation of the U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice, Assistance Veteran Treatment Court Innovations Program, Grant Program, award in the amount of $67,650, probation and court services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move on FIR 13024, placing names on payroll, human resources.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 13124, approval of an amendment to the grant agreement between County of DuPage and Choose DuPage for participation in the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 13224, approval of the amendment to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau for tourism and travel attraction ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 13324, approval of the amendment to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau for the Visit Chicagoland Cooperative Advertising Program ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 13424, approval of an amendment to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and the County Convention and Visitors Bureau for the Hotel Assistance Program ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 13524, approval of the amendment to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and the DuPage Senior Citizens Council for the drive-through meal programs ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 13624, budget transfers 8/13/2024, various companies and accounting units.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 013724, approval of an amendment to the Infrastructure Investment Grant Program Round 2 to extend the eligible expense end date in the agreement from August 15, 2024 to October 31st, 2024 ARPA interest.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of a grant agreement between the County of DuPage and the Munich Arts Center for the use of ARPA funds interest for the Haukusai floating world exhibit in the amount of 50,000 ARPA interest. I'm not sure how to say that word, how to pronounce that.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of I think that's it.
Paula, hang on. Paula and
Oh, wait, two more.
Ina.
I missed
Paula and Ina.
Okay, thank you. I move approval of FIR 014024, revisions to the policy manual, sick time, human resources. Oh, did I miss one?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Oh, discussion? Okay.
Okay. Okay. Member Cahill.
Thank you very much, Chair. I wanted to bring this up today because we didn't discuss it in finance, and I wanted to highlight what this was and why there are revisions to the policy manual for sick time and employee retention. And maybe if Nick would come up here too. So when we had a surplus, in our surplus, we allocated $10 million. It was my initiative to allocate this $10 million to pay down our accrued benefits. And this is a terrific program because what we're doing is we are saving taxpayer dollars. We are, these two, the sick pay and the employee retention, these are programs that ended in 2011 and 2012, and this is sitting on our books. And some of our employees really cannot even, they cannot take any of the money out until they actually leave the county. And so this then funds this liability, so we have it, we have the money available, the employees can then access their paid sick time, and this saves us taxpayer dollars because in the future we would have to be paying this out. So I thought it was important to highlight this today. Thank you.
Okay. Member Guston. No, Member
Sorry.
Galassi.
That's okay.
Oops, I'm so sorry. Did you want to say something? Member Galassi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to commend my teammate here, Member Cahill, for bringing this initiative forward when we had that surplus, because it is, as Nick will say, a win-win for the county financially as you're preparing the budget. You know, I know this is going to take future pressures off that budget process. And secondarily, coming from an executive recruiting world and knowing the pinch that we're in for to find good employees, this will also help retain our employees, because there are employees that have things coming up like college education fees and, you know, important things like that that they need to fund. And prior to this change, they would have to leave the DuPage County as an employee in order to take advantage of receiving these funds. And it's a great win-win, both for us financially as a county, but also to maintain our great employees, so that if these employees have a need like college tuition or anything, credit card that they want to pay down, they can now do this. So I applaud Member Cahill for bringing this initiative and idea forward, and I applaud all the staff for really pulling this together and making this, you know, something that we're now implementing. So I think it's wonderful. And Nick, if you want to add to that, please do.
I think you guys really summarized it well, but the board had the foresight back in November, December to set aside the money out of the surplus. And this is the culmination of that. You know, a lot of work with the state's attorney. And it truly is. I mean, it will save us financially moving forward. It will take pressure off future budget years, and it will allow those employees, and it's their choice whether they want to do it now or later. But if they have pressures, you know, financially, they have other obligations, it will allow them to do it without having to leave employment. And I think all of the departments at the county have experienced where we had a good employee who had to leave in order to have the money. Everything, these benefits expired long ago. Retention in 2002, the sick bank in 2011. So this is taking them off the books. So it's fiscally a very sound policy.
Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to make a comment about the COD money. I really thank the chair and the board. Last year, I approached, I advocated for $50,000 of ARPA money to go to COD, and that money was used for expenses after the Warhol program. So I had a discussion with them again this year. Last year's $50,000 was the first ARPA money that COD had received. So I want to thank you for last year's $50,000 and for this year's $50,000. And I have to say, while COD is in District 4 and in my district, they really do serve all of DuPage, and anything we can do to help our largest community college is helpful to the community and to all of our residents. So thank you all again.
Member Krajewski. Evidently, we went back for a moment, but
we're done.
We're moving forward.
We're in the HR
Yes,
policy.
we're talking about Member Cahill's initiative that's saving.
Yeah,
saving
I was just
your
that's what I
nest.
thought we were talking about.
Yes.
Just I was gonna wonder, Jeff, what is the total liability that's out there? Just got our audit report, so I assume I can look in the 300 and some pages and see it, but.
General fund liability between Bank A, SIC, and retention, $9.8 million. But I will say that we have one collective bargaining agreement that still has the Bank A, SIC accruing. So it does change, but retention is a finite amount, and that doesn't include the special revenues.
So we got about 10 million, the same amount we set aside?
Yeah.
So we have zero, we will really have zero.
We're still going through, but yes, I think you're right in our latest calculations, you're right in the ballpark that, it does not include special revenues, they have to cover their own, but from a general fund, this will cover it by our calculations.
Okay, so there will really be no
Yeah, we'll let
liability.
you know, we'll give you updates on the uptake by the employees for utilizing this program.
I remember several years ago, that was well over 20-some million in liability out there.
And it's slowly gone down when people retire, the liabilities go down, but this will definitely fast track it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, so for the record, leave is granted. Member Chaplin. Wait, okay, I'm sorry, roll call, please. Okay, leave is granted. Member Chaplin,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and finally, I move approval of FIR 14124 revisions to the Personnel Policy Manual, Employee Retention, Human Resources.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Animal Services and Member Krajewski.
No report.
Okay, Development and Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 45-24, zoning
Second.
2424. Rikorsky to approve a variation to allow 6-foot 100% closed privacy fence within the 30-foot front yard setback. This was denied by the zoning hearing officer and the development committee. If it approves this morning, it will require 14 votes or a supermajority.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Tornatori,
No.
you,
No.
Zay, Cahill, Chaplin,
No.
Childress, Covert, Desart, Eckhoff, Evans,
No.
Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, and Schwarzy.
Okay, member, and the motion fails. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 46-24, zoning 2429, Molex Real Estate
Second.
Holding to approve a conditional use to allow principal recreational use for walking paths.
No. Yeah, leave is granted. Because it was unanimous in committee, we can do leave. So leave is granted. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 47-24, zoning 2439, to approve a variation to reduce the required setback for a new fence from 3 feet to approximately 0.
Leave is granted. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 48-24, zoning 2443, to allow for a conditional use to increase the total area of a detached accessory building from 1,200 square feet to 1,440 square feet. Variation to increase the total height from 15 feet to approximately 25 feet, and a variation to reduce the interior side setback from 10 feet to 5 feet for a new detached garage.
Leave is, yes. Yep, leave is granted. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 49-24, zoning 2452, to approve a variation to allow finished side of a proposed privacy fence to face inward instead of outward.
Okay, leave is granted. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 12F, I move to waive first reading of item 12F, DCO 50-24, text amendment to the zoning ordinance relative to beekeeping.
Okay, so we're,
We can have a second on it first before we make a discussion.
okay.
This is, no, not yet.
Okay, so it's been
This
moved
is
and
to waive
seconded.
first
Okay,
reading.
and seconded. Member Rutledge.
Yeah, that girl.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make a motion to refer.
This is not yet. This is just on waiving the first reading. We're not
I
to
will
it yet.
hold my comments. then.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
There you go.
do we need a roll call? Or just all in favor? Yeah, all in favor. Okay, Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now I move item 12F, DCO 50-24, a text amendment zoning petition T-1-24 relating to the DuPage County ordinance relative to beekeeping.
Okay, Member Rutledge.
Thank you. On this item, I'd like to make a motion to refer this item to the Environmental Committee.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Discussion?
Do we have a discussion?
Yeah.
Please be short.
Yeah. This is a text amendment to a zoning ordinance. It has nothing to do with the environment. Why are we sending it to an environmental committee?
It
It's a
absolutely
text
does.
amendment.
Well, it does, Member Rutledge.
It is my request to do that. We have had amazing amounts of comment on this, very split. The Sierra Club is concerned about habitat loss. So I think there's two separate issues to this. There is a land use issue and an environmental issue. And until we can kind of satisfy the concerns of both sides of this from an environmental aspect, before we vote on the land use issue, I think that that's prudent.
Well, it sounds to me there's so much I'm learning about bees that I didn't know. It sounds like it's well worth the educational piece just to kind of get all board members to understand, including myself, what the issues are, and then we'll move it forward from there. Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I mean, you know, this isn't one of my initiatives, but it was brought to me by a constituent, right? And a constituent contacted me in District 5, unincorporated Naperville, who was in court due to not having an acre to beekeep, while across the street in incorporated Naperville, those residents were able to enjoy beekeeping with smaller lots. It seemed unfair to me. It seemed discriminatory to me. So particularly, it does accommodate people that are wealthier that can afford an acre, and then they can do beekeeping under the current county ordinance, where other people in unincorporated Naperville cannot. So they don't have that freedom to be a beekeeper. Beekeepers are really quiet and green and a thinking bunch. As you can tell, 3 of them were here testifying to support the ordinance change. They're very passionate about their bees and their thought process. While I was on the Naperville City Council, we changed the city beekeeping ordinance to accommodate property owners and residents with smaller lots, limiting the number of hives and requiring lot setbacks. The reality is that we need to do something. Our unincorporated residents are not being treated in the same fashion as incorporated residents are to be able to enjoy their lots and their lifestyle. Actually, former City Council member Bob Fiesler, a friend of mine who's a Democrat, came to support the changes as to the beekeeping hobbyist ordinance in Naperville. And he's also very passionate about it, so it's nice. One beekeeper even brought his bees into chamber. They were very focused on their hives and nothing else. The county is now looking to make changes to allow unincorporated individuals who cannot afford an acre parcel to enjoy beekeeping. The current county ordinance seems unfair, biased, and discriminates against our unincorporated property owners by not allowing the freedom to be keepers in DuPage County. It's important to note that the changes in the ordinance is unlikely to lead to a significant increase in the number of hives. Currently, staff said we only have about 200 beekeepers existing in DuPage County, with just 12 actively engaged. By changing the ordinance, we may get 3 to 5 more. However, then those individuals will be in compliance. Because they will be in compliance with the new ordinance, it will allow other beekeepers off the grid the opportunity to come in and be in compliance. Staff has done a great job placing restrictions and professional oversight by 4-H, federal and state groups. The oversight provides better control of unlawful or too many hives, which in turn protects the bee balance. Development and pesticides remain a key challenge to the thriving bee environment. Development is necessary for affordable, attainable housing. We can discuss the impact of pesticides at a later date. The county has added natural planting recommendations for development, single residential and commercial. These are things that will increase the bee population, as honeybees have been in this country for centuries. According to one article, and honeybees article found shale from honeybees in Colorado. So, at what date do we call honeybees a native bee? Both honeybees, native bees, insects, people, and wind act as pollinators. Is one bee better than another? I believe not. If native bees were to be taken over by honeybees, I suspect it would have happened in the past 200 years.
Member Guston.
While some board members may be opposed to the ordinance change, I will vote in favor of it to promote fairness, green initiatives, and proper oversight. So I invite everyone to vote and choose to be as opposed to not be on the ordinance for zoning.
Okay, Member
The other
Guston.
issue is a different issue that we should bring to the Environmental Committee.
Member Guston.
Yes.
We're not going to vote on the issue, I don't believe. I think we're going to vote to bring this to committee. So that's a wonderful testimony you just gave, and I think very important to have when we have this further discussion.
So when we go to committee, I just want to make sure staff, because we've got District 4, District 6, District 5, and District 1 residents that are in court due to the current ordinance. So I want to make sure that it's quickly done, that we do it quickly, and that staff works with those individuals that are in court so that they're not fined or anything else moving forward until we get this resolved.
Okay, we're going to take a roll call now. Oh, Member Kajewski, sorry.
I mean, can't we have discussion on this? This thing passed 4-1 at Development Committee.
So is there any negative to having further discussion and understanding the situation better in committee and then coming back and voting on it?
Well, first of all, this thing isn't something new. We already allow it in unincorporated with 40,000 square feet. 15 municipalities, many municipalities already have it. So we're just looking to give it to, like Member Guston said, and then, maybe Paul could come up here. We had this at committee. Every new hive is going to have to be licensed through the state of Illinois, correct? I mean, can you explain to the board here? I mean, if there becomes an issue, the Illinois state will not grant a license for the beehives.
Okay,
And
so
you gave that testimony.
Member
at the development.
Kajewski, procedurally, Paul, I need you to address why or why not this should be referred to committee and not the other.
To the
Yes,
environmental
yes.
committee.
To the environmental committee,
That's the
yes.
issue before us right
Yes.
So is a license, if anybody is going to have this, then they're going to have to be licensed through the state of Illinois. And if there's a danger to the environment, so the license won't be granted?
So, per the code that we're proposing, you would have to register with the State Department of Agriculture and also be a 4-H project in order to have bees in the unincorporated area on any size lot.
And if there's an environmental issue, will the state of Illinois not grant the license?
Well, the state of Illinois is not concerned with the environmental aspect of it. They're concerned with the queen bee aspect of it and the drones. I think what we're hearing here is, from the discussion that we heard in the comment section, is there's concern about natural habitat relative to pollinators. And I think that's what everybody's looking at to have discussed at the Environmental Committee. Not necessarily the land use aspect of it, but some of the attendant benefits or non-benefits of allowing bees to be had in all unincorporated residential properties. It's the habitat and the pollinating aspect of it that I think is a concern for the Environmental Committee, as opposed to the land use issue that just deals with where you can have hives in the unincorporated area, how many you can have, and where they can be located on a residential property. Two different.
During your research, did the 15 municipalities that have granted, did they look at the environmental issue?
They were looking at the land use issue. They put regulations on relative to how you have to get a license, how you have to get something from the Department of Agriculture in terms of registering the queen bee, and the location of the hives on the property, similar to what we're proposing in the zoning ordinance, all concentrated on land use issues.
Okay, we're going to move on for more.
For staff, if you don't mind. So one's a land use issue, which is in front of us today, right? And then the other one is and I agree, we should have the land, grass and whatever in committee. So these are like two separate things, or are they two things that are together? I mean, obviously, we can go into committee and talk about how we need more vegetation, or we need more flowers, or we need more this or more that. And there is some anecdotal already in the county's ordinance with respect to stormwater, even though it's only anecdotal and it's not, etched in stone. So the county does do some of that. Is that something we need to, and I think we should, take that to committee, not necessarily the zoning for bees, or what?
Well, I think the issue is that they're not mutually exclusive of one another. They both sort of feed off each other. So to put a land use regulation in place that could have an impact on the environment could be problematic. It's not suggesting that it is, but I think that the point here is that let's look at the environmental aspect of it and see how that juxtaposes with the land use aspect of it, and make sure those two jibe together.
So
Really
we'll
the
have
issue
both items in committee.
Okay, the question before us is whether or not this gets referred to the Environmental Committee. Okay, so that's the issue. Member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand that this started off in Development Committee. However, new information has come to light, right, from public testimony, from public comments, from lots of emails from different people, which is why I think it does make sense to move it over to environmental, because there are many, many different scientific evidence, research, articles that I've been reading, and I think there really is an issue here. And the Development Committee, we're looking at regulations that ultimately affect honeybee and native bee populations, which is why environmental is appropriate. So I call the question.
Okay, we're going to move. Is there a second? Okay, we're going to move to a roll call, please.
May I suggest, with council, can we refer this to a specific environmental meeting so that we can then know when we could bring it back to development, like the next environmental meeting? If I can ask the maker of the motion to, if she wants to refer to the next environmental meeting.
Thank you, Sam. I too would like to move this quickly, but because of the comments that we've received on this, I'm afraid that 30 minutes is not adequate, and I would prefer to do this in a special call. And again, I'd love to schedule that as quickly as we can.
We have a motion pending on whether to call the question, and there was a second, so we should have a roll call on whether to call the question and end debate.
Okay, roll call, please.
Well, can I get clarity? Is the
first
clarity, please?
We're
Legal
just
clarity.
voting on whether we're going to end debate. So if you're in favor of ending debate, you
The
vote.
debate to have it go to.
No,
No, remember
this
you
is
called
just
the
to
question.
end debate on it going to committee. So there needs to be a majority to end. We need to have 2/3 to end debate.
One step at a time. This is to end the debate, and we'll move on from there. Roll call, please.
You. Zay. No. Cahill. Yes. Chaplin. Aye. Childress. Yes. Covert, Desart. Aye. Eckhoff. Evans. Aye. Galassi. Aye. Garcia. Aye. Guston. Krajewski. No. LaPlante. Aye. Ozog. Rutledge. Aye. Schwarzy. And Tornatori.
Aye.
13 voting aye, 14 voting nay.
Okay.
I'm for, excuse me.
Okay, now, who knew bees were a partisan issue? I did not know that. Okay, so now we need to move to a vote on whether this should be referred to the Environmental Committee. So roll call, please.
Discussion?
There has been a motion, there has been a second,
We've
there
had-
has
yeah.
been debate, which
There's
has been
been more than
ended. We're
enough.
just voting on whether this is going to be committed, which is referred to the Environmental Committee.
You have my word that it will be done as expeditiously as possible. Okay, roll call, please.
Rutledge. Aye. Schwarzy. Aye. Tornatori.
Aye.
You. Aye. Zay. Cahill. Aye. Chaplin. Aye. Childress. Yes. Covert. Desart. Aye. Eckhoff. Evans. Aye. Galassi. Aye. Garcia. Aye. Guston. Aye. Krajewski. No. LaPlante. Aye. And Ozog. 14 voting aye, 3 voting nay.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, Member Tornatori.
Then as I understand it, then item 12F no longer exists because it's been referred to the environmental. Okay, I will move on to item 12G. I move approval of DCP 2-24, an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Roselle and the County of DuPage with regards to the removal of hazardous materials from a dangerous and unsafe building with funds from the Neighborhood Revitalization Plan not to exceed $50,000.
Okay. It is, okay. It has been moved, and do we need a vote on this one? Okay, roll call, please.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill. Aye. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Aye. Eckhoff. Aye. Evans, Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, and Schwarzy.
Okay, thank you, Member Tornatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Economic Development and Member LaPlante.
By way of committee update, I would like to talk about our feasibility study, which we are in phase 2. And this is called the booster phase. What that means is we go around and we tell everyone what we're working on. We get a lot of feedback and we highlight and really advocate for this feasibility study. So this is a very exciting time for the Economic Development Committee and supporting and exploring all the opportunities for the arts in DuPage County. We've got a great team working on this. We've got a lot of interested partners, and this is something that, as a huge arts advocate, I am very excited about. And we're examining all the opportunities for economic development and bringing tourism to DuPage County. Another exciting update, at one of our Economic Development Committee meetings last year, my colleague, Carrie Galassi, brought up a segment of our community that she had observed need help rejoining the workforce. Parents who had taken breaks from from their careers to raise children. And as anyone who has stayed home with children knows, that is the harder job. Ask me how I know. So this is a wonderful program that in short order, Lisa Shavat, our Director of WorkNet DuPage, Erica Finney from Choose DuPage, and Danielle Kuglan-Sego from College of DuPage began collaborating to develop a program series called Back to School, Back to Work. The initial round of seminars for parents took place last September at WorkNet, timed to coincide with school-age children going back to school and the parents finally having the time and brain space to go in and focus on rejuvenating their career. With an average attendance around 50 parents per session and a lot of very positive feedback from participants, the next step was to offer digital confidence courses at College of DuPage. These events were highly successful, the energy was amazing, and just wonderful to be such a part of a beautiful and innovative approach to helping parents return to the workforce in DuPage County. These courses provided computer fundamentals, training for the programs and skills needed in today's workplaces. We are proud to note that the Back to School, Back to Work initiative was recognized with, I really need a drum roll here, thank you everyone, an achievement award by the National Association of Counties in June. That's a big deal, yay us. And the team is currently looking forward to the next series of workshops this September on the 12th, 19th, and 26th. We hope that you will not only help spread the word to the residents of the county, please push this out for all of your districts, but join us and come and see the fabulous work we are doing. That concludes my Economic Development Committee update. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Member LaPlante, and we'll move on to Environmental and Member Rutledge.
I just want to take a minute to thank everybody for seeing both sides of this issue. The bigger picture beyond the land use is the habitat and those kind of things, and I've long advocated for lessening the amount of turf grass that we have in our county because it's an environmental wasteland. So I think this is a good opportunity to open up that discussion and see if we can improve habitat for the concerns of the Sierra Club people that have those concerns about native bees. So again, I appreciate your listening and extending this conversation beyond the Development Committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Rutledge, and ETSB and Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No committee update, but I'd like to move on item ETSR 5924, a resolution approving a mutual termination agreement between the County of DuPage on behalf of the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County and the Village of Addison, and this is pending parent committee approval tomorrow.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Tornatori. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Aye. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. And Rutledge.
Okay. Thank you, Member Schwarzy, and on to Human Services and Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I do have a report I'd like to give. First of all, it really revolves around our grant presentations this morning. Chair Conroy, first of all, thank you for allowing us to do it this way. I think it creates a real positive atmosphere. It lets everyone here get to meet the people that were, that are receiving grants. And so thank you very much. I want to thank Joan Olson for an outstanding job putting this stuff together. You're so good at this stuff. So the team needs a leader, and thank you very much for your great work. I want to thank Vice Chair Garcia, the Community Services Director, Mary Keating, and the DuPage Foundation, the grant committee. It's meticulous, difficult, hard work to go through the applications like a fine-tooth comb and work to select the best grant opportunities to help the most people in DuPage County. It's not easy work. It's time-consuming. Myself, Vice Chair Garcia, and Mary Keating spend hours and hours over at the DuPage Foundation going through this process, and they do an outstanding job with their expertise, their experience, their dedication, and the comprehensive work that they do to get this done. So thank you to them. And I'd like to thank this board. You know, in February of 2022, we worked to take this ARPA, $10 million of ARPA money, $10.6 million worth of ARPA money to do good things. And I think that you're able to see that today. So thank you very much to this board for your commitment to helping the residents of DuPage County. With that being said, on October 8th, we will be having another presentation for the longer-term transformational grants. The good news about that meeting is the DuPage Foundation is going to make a presentation, not just to the grant recipients, but they're going to give a presentation on the impact that our grants have done so far for our community. So we're going to get to see firsthand how it has affected the people in our community that we represent. So looking forward to that, and thank you for allowing that to happen too, Chair Conroy. On to Human Services agenda items. I'll move on item HSR 1624, a recommendation for the approval of an agreement between the County of DuPage and the College of DuPage for the establishment of a learning site at the DuPage Care Center.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin. Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. And Rutledge.
Okay. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2824, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Cooks Directing for replacement ice and water dispensers for the DuPage Care Center for the period August 14th of 24 through November 30th of 24 for a contract total not to exceed $51,845.52.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2924, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Lakeshore Dairy, Inc. for fluid dairy for the DuPage Care residents, cafeteria, and cafes on county campus for the period September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025 for a contract total amount not to exceed $83,000.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. Finally, I move on HSP 3024, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Warehouse Direct for hand soap and personal care items for the DuPage Care Center for the period September 1st, 24 through August 31st, 26 for a contract total amount not to exceed $61,420.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Schwarzy. Okay, Judicial and Public Safety, and Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is, for my committee update, it is budget time. So at the last JPS meeting, State's Attorney Bob Berlin and Public Defender Jeff York presented their budgets. So if anybody missed it, you can go back and watch the recording and get all the information you need. And so with that, I'd like to move on JPS CO-8-24, Amendment to Purchase Order 6879-1 serve issued to Monterey Security to increase the contract in the amount of $150,000 for increased security services at the DuPage County Health Department for a new contract total amount of $1,518,375.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. Yu.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. And Eckhoff.
Okay, Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next, I'd like to move on JPS P-21-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to National Association of State Head Injury Administrators for developing and implementing an online, on-demand brain injury training designed to provide education to the DuPage BTC team for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, for a total contract amount not to exceed $52,250.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And next, I'd like to move on JPS P-22-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Stock Enterprises LLC for the purchase of Grappler Police Bumper Kits and training for the Sheriff's Office for the period of August 13th, 2024 through August 12th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $31,000.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And finally, I'd like to move on JPS P-23-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Untethered Labs, Inc. for the purchase of the Gatekeeper system for the Sheriff's Office for the period of August 13th, 2024 through August 12th, 2025 for a contract total amount not to exceed $61,980.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Evans. And we have legislative and Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to draw your attention to the screens at this point for a bit of breaking news. I'm sure none of you have heard this yet. And my thanks to Anthony, Craig, and Joe for putting my little fungi up there. Governor Pritzker is designating the official mushroom of the state of Illinois. The governor signed a bill designating Calvacia gigantea, commonly known as the giant puffball, as the state's official mushroom. The measure began as an initiative, this is the cool part, as an initiative led by elementary school students from Prairie School of DuPage here in Wheaton. The kids wanted to see their chosen mushroom recognized as a state symbol, so yesterday Governor Pritzker signed SB 3514, designated the giant puffball as the official mushroom of the state of Illinois. And he said, Governor Pritzker said, to celebrate today, not only a new state symbol, but the hard work and dedication of our state's young leaders. The giant puffball will now stand as a testament to the curiosity and determination of the bright students of Illinois who have shown us that even the youngest among us can make a difference. So congratulations to the Prairie School of DuPage students right here in Wheaton. In Springfield, both the House and the Senate have left Washington and are in their district for the month of August. They're both set to return the second week of September. Congress will be in a sprint to finish the FY25 budget before September 30th. Here locally in DuPage County, we have our legislative committee meeting immediately following the county board today to discuss renewing our Springfield lobbyist contracts. So you all, of course, are invited to attend. And one other note that I'd like you to mark down, if you would, ISACO, our state group, is seeking legislative updates for their legislative agenda. They'd like those legislative updates by this Friday, August 16th. So if you have any legislative updates you'd like the state to tackle, then email Jeremy, our senior advisor, Jeremy Custer, by Friday. Those are due Friday. So thank you so much. That's the update.
Okay, thank you, Member Desart. In Public Works and Member Garcia. That's you.
Sorry, I was talking. Thank you, Chair Conroy. I want to thank everyone who came out for the Nordic ribbon cutting. I know one thing that's not controversial is clean water, and I want to thank all of the staff that did such a fantastic job in getting that together. And the tour was fantastically interesting. So if you didn't get to go on that, that's your loss. And we're very lucky we have the UV cleaners, and so if you get a chance, try to go on a tour and see all the great work that's being done out at Nordic. With that, I make a motion to approve FMP 003124, recommendation for the approval of a contract to White Construction Services, Inc. to provide professional construction manager
Second.
as advisor services for the JTK Administrative Building HVAC replacement project for facilities management for the period of August 13th, 2024 through December 31st, 2026, for a total contract amount not to exceed $1,588,928.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Garcia.
Aye.
Justin. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. Yu.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. And Schwarzy.
Perfect timing. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FMP 003224, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Air Filter Solutions LLC to furnish and deliver air filters as needed for county facilities, for facilities management for the period of September 27, 2024 through September 26, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $138,100.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWP 001624, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Moore Oil Company to furnish and deliver non-highway use number 1 and number 2 red dyed diesel fuel for the Public Works emergency generators at Woodridge Green Valley Wastewater Treatment Plant, Knollwood Wastewater Treatment Plant, and Nordic Wastewater Treatment Plant for the period of August 13, 2024 to August 12, 2026 for a total contract amount not to exceed $100,000.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
Say leave.
Just leave. Second.
I make a motion to approve PWP 001724, recommendation for the approval of contract to LAI Limited for the purchase of Desert Inc., APCO Inc., Hilton Brand, and Red Valve representation repair parts, as well as Rotark valve actuators and repair parts for the Woodridge Green Valley Wastewater Treatment Plant, Knollwood Wastewater Treatment Plant, and Nordic Wastewater Treatment Plant for Public Works for the period of August 13th, 2024 to August 12th, 2028, for a total contract amount not to exceed $200,000.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
Okay, and on 19E, I move to waive the first reading for item 19E PWO 000424 related to changes to Chapter 36 of the DuPage County Water Supply Distribution and Wastewater Treatment Ordinance.
All in favor?
Aye.
Member Garcia.
Now I move to item 19E, and I make a motion to approve PWO 0004, acceptance of the substitute, oh my gosh. Substitute. Oh,
That's a
forget it.
tough one. I feel your pain. I get it.
Substantive and technical changes to Chapter 36 of the DuPage County Water Supply Distribution and Wastewater Treatment Ordinance.
Okay.
Say roll.
Okay, we need a roll call here, please.
Garcia.
Aye.
Justin. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. Yu.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
And Galassi.
Okay. Thank you, Member Garcia. And on to Stormwater and Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMR 324, approving an agreement between the County of DuPage and St. Joseph's Creek Condominium Association for St. Joseph's Creek Condominium Flood Mitigation Project.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Zay.
Aye.
Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. And you.
Aye.
Okay, Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMP 20-24, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and Bloomingdale Township for the Mallard Landing drainage improvements, amount not to exceed $90,000.
Leave is granted. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMP 21-24, move our contract issued to Coperhaven Construction for St. Joseph's Creek Condominium Drainage Improvements, Building C, the amount not to exceed $1,720,415 per lowest responsible bid.
Leave is granted. Member Zay.
Thank Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMP 22-24, approve a contract issued to Coperhaven Construction for St. Joseph's Creek condominium drainage improvements, Building A and B for stormwater management, the amount not to exceed $2,035,871.
Leave is granted. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on 24-2003, amendment to Resolution SMP 59-23, issued to Hay and Associates Professional Engineering Services, increase the contract by $48,205. The amount not to exceed $133,205.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Members
Thank you,
A.
Madam Chair.
And Technology and Member U.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For my committee update, I wanted to mention that we held our second County Municipal IT Roundtable on August 1st, which was successful with many municipal members attending. And we had a presentation from Gartner on ransomware and security best practices, as well as an opportunity to question and make comments with a representative from CrowdStrike who came in person. There was also an announcement with regard to the formation of our cybersecurity task force. And so our next workshop is actually August 21, and that will be on AI and governments. If you are going to attend, please RSVP because I believe there is now limited seating. And then on August 29 is our cybersecurity task force, our very first task force meeting. And I also wanted to just mention lastly that there will be an incident report forthcoming with regard to the CrowdStrike incident. So thank you. And with that, I'll move on to our agenda items, which is 21A. I move on TEP 9-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Insight Public Sector for the purchase of KnowBe4 software for cybersecurity awareness training and phishing testing for the IT department for the period of October 29, 2024 through October 28, 2025 for contract total amount not to exceed $31,296.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Aye. Chaplin. Aye. Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. And Tornatori.
Okay, Member U.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on TEP 10-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to SHI International Corp. For the procurement of laptops, docks, and monitors for IT and probation for the period of August 20, 2024 through August 19, 2025 for a contract total amount of $664,623.43, which is an ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member U. We got to, okay. Member Desart.
Thank you. Yeah, in finance, we talked about this a little bit. Member Zay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's not here. Didn't we, I think we should pull this until we have a more detailed accounting of what the $664,000 are for exactly. It just says laptops, docks, monitors, but it doesn't really have an accounting of what it's for. Thank you, Anthony.
Okay, Anthony, can you address that? Thank you.
Absolutely. So there is, I misspoke earlier when I responded to Member Zay's question. There actually is a memo in there that explains in more detail what this covers. So yeah, essentially it's replacement machines for devices that are no longer covered under warranty and that need to be replaced for 5 different organizations. The State's Attorney's Office, the Public Defender, the Probation, and HR, as well as some areas in IT. So,
Anthony, I must have missed that. Thank you.
yeah.
Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair. Anthony, you mentioned warranties. What is a typical warranty on these devices, and are we extending that warranty? Or because if it's a year, we've got a lot of things out of warranty that are still useful. So that's my question.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So typically warranties last 4 to 5 years, and that's when we try to replace them after the warranty is no longer available to the devices.
Okay, Member U.
I'm going to also interject here. Anthony, this is part of our plan that we basically replace every 4 or 5 years, 25% of our inventory, correct?
That's absolutely true. So this is part of our equipment life cycle. So it's usually 20 to 25%. This particular case, we're replacing more devices than normal. That's why it's a little higher than it has been in the past. We use a lot of our inventory during the COVID crisis, and those machines are off of warranty and need to be replaced. So, we're taking advantage of the funding that we have available to us to do that. So.
Okay. Member Krajewski, did you have something?
Item, so the technology was included in ARPA for allowing all IT tech.
Correct. So it is covered under the ARPA funding because it allowed for us to work remotely, right, in case of an emergency. That's what makes it eligible.
Okay. Okay, so it has already passed, so we're going to move on to the next member U.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on TEP 11-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Gartner for 1 subscription for CIO's individual access and 1 subscription for technical professionals, advisor small and mid-sized business enterprise access for IT for the period of October 1, 2024 through September 30, 2025 for a contract total of $141,685.
Leave is granted. Member U.
Thank you. I move on TEP 12-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Cara Company, Inc. for the management of the county GPS core sites to include operating, monitoring, and upgrading of software and firmware for IT GIS division for the period of September 1, 2024 through August 31, 2025 for a contract total amount of $39,500.
Leave is granted. Leave is granted. Member U.
And now I move on TEP 13-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to AT&T Mobility for the annual licensing and maintenance of AirWatch mobile device management for IT for the period of July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025 for a contract total amount of $32,040.
Leave is granted. Member U.
And last but not least, I move on TEP 14-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Carasoft Technology Group for the procurement of UiPath robotics process automation licensing for IT for the period of August 14, 2024 through August 13, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $31,360.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member U.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And thank you, Member Galassi, for the look. Only moms understand that look. Okay, transportation and Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pardon me. Okay, by way of report, last Friday I attended the State Senate hearing on the financial cliff that we are looking at in public transit in 2026. Chair Conroy testified, and members DeSart, Chaplin, and Guston were also there, as well as Nick Kottmeyer and our new director, Steve Travia, and Bill Edson. These hearings are being held to discuss said financial cliff. So they're continuing, and we will keep you posted as we learn things from these hearings. Also, this morning I hosted coffee and donuts for the staff over at our 410 building to introduce them to Steve Travia, who started here, it'll be 2 weeks yesterday. He's in day 10, and we're very glad he's here. And again, I want to thank Bill Edson for being our acting Department of Transportation chair since last December. So early day for us, and always for our staff. So thank you. And now I'm going to move on to our items. I move to approve DTR 002924, awarding resolution to H&H Electric Company for LED traffic signal head replacements at various locations within DuPage County for an estimated county cost of $329,999.42 per lowest responsible bid.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Ozog.
Yes.
Rutledge. Aye. Schwarzy. Aye. Tornatori. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Aye. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. DeSart. Aye. Eckhoff. Aye. Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Aye. Garcia. Aye. Guston. Krajewski. Aye. And LaPlante.
Okay. Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 003024, awarding resolution issued to Alliance Contractors Incorporated for the 2024 retaining wall repair program for an estimated county cost of $354,804 per lowest responsible bid.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
Move for approval of DTR 003124, agreement between the County of DuPage and RPAI Darien LLC for traffic signal maintenance responsibilities at County Highway 33, 75th Street and Lyman Avenue, and County Highway 33, 75th Street and Fairmont Avenue.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
I move for approval of DTP 004524, recommendation for the approval of a contract renewal to AT&T Corporation to provide analog telecommunication services as needed for the Department of Transportation to communicate with traffic signals for the period of August 30th, 2024 through March 31st, 2026, for a contract total not to exceed $40,000.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
I move for approval of 2017 amendment to Resolution DTP 015422, issued to Knight Incorporated for professional Phase 2 design engineering services for improvements along County Highway 21 and from Illinois Route 38 to County Line, to increase the funding in the amount of $76,405.80, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $805,354.66.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
And finally, thank you, I move for approval of 24-2021, amendment to Resolution DTR 007023, issued to H&H Electric Company for LED traffic signal head replacements at various locations within DuPage County, to increase the funding in the amount of $6,340.18, resulting in amended contract total amount of $288,325.77, an increase of $2.25%.
Okay, leave is granted. Thank you, Member Ozog.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
and do we have on number 23, do we have any discussion? Seeing none. How about old business? Member Desart.
Yeah, ever since I've been on this board, I've been, whatever a member wanted more information on a topic, I would always vote in favor of them. So I too am happy that the beekeeping issue is moving to environmental. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've learned more about beekeeping than I've ever known in my whole life. So more education is needed on my behalf before we make a decision that'll affect people's lives and hobbies. So thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Member Guston?
And to that point, I agree, it's always good to get educated and learn more about it. I just also want to learn a little bit more about procedurally. If you have a zoning issue, it's a zoning issue. It's in our development committee, but it's also was in the ZBA before that. When do we fray away from the obligations of, the development committee and ZBA versus going into environmental? And that's not anything I need an answer to today, but I would like something from legal saying we can do that moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, Member Guston and the State's Attorney will have a conversation with you after the meeting, so you understand. And now, new business. Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we move into this next year's budget season, I would again suggest, and I know we gave some money to the COD today, but to put some money in for maybe the Economic Development Committee to look at events that may happen in DuPage County to bring tourism, people in to visit and shop. And, a couple of years ago, we helped out with the natatorium. They weren't even going to bid on some of these national events, and we helped them with some money partnering with the Village of Westmont. And, of course, it was super successful, and they landed many major events over the last couple of years. We just wrapped up the Olympics, and of the Olympic swimmers, if anyone watched some of the competition, about 50 of the Olympic swimmers from various countries all competed in Westmont over the last couple of years. As a result, last month in July, Speedo had their 5 sectional tournaments throughout the United States. They told the natatorium in each site that they'd probably have about 350 child or older ones, teenagers, basically at these events. So they're expected about 350. Well, Westmont the natatorium had over 750 of these individuals come here and compete. And with their parents that came and watched, they had 4 nights of over 1,000 room nights. They all wanted to come here to swim because of all the Olympians who have swam in Westmont. In addition, when they were at the Olympic trials in the natatorium in July, they were approached by FINA, which is the International World Aquatics. They're going to be hosting 5 countries in October of 25, and they would like to discuss the natatorium being the U.S. site here of the 5 countries, being U.S. being one of those countries, and Westmont. So I'm sure we'll see them and working with the Village of Westmont and maybe us in trying to help secure that in October of 2025. So again, from the help of this county board and the Village of Westmont and helping, the auditorium decided to go after that potential international and national tournaments, even though they could themselves just run their own operation and make their money. They realized the benefit of all the hotel rooms and all the travelers coming in. So again, I would suggest that, we have several of those at College DuPage today. Just put some money aside in next year's budget, let, the committee, economic development, vet those out and see if they can, have a good return on our investment. And clearly, the auditorium has done that. They're now on the world stage, not just nationally, as one of the premier places for competitors to come swim. And when they do travel, they stay in the hotels and spend money.
Okay. Anybody else? Oh, okay. Member Guston. Oh, Galassi, I did it again. You can just imagine what my four sons go through. I call them by number 1, 2, 3, and 4 anymore.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about that.
You can just say Member G. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I like to really support what Member Krajewski just said. I think it's a wonderful idea. Economic development only benefits everyone in the county, typically has an ROI of 10% when we make investments like that. So I fully support that. But my real reason for speaking is I just wanted to give a shout out to the local Hinsdale Little League team. In case you guys haven't heard, they won their regional last week, and they will be representing the Great Lakes region in Williamsport. So super exciting. I believe, I have to fact check this, but I believe it's the first time DuPage County has had a representative go that far in the tournament. And Little League is near and dear to my heart. Both my boys participated. And it's just truly such an amazing experience for these boys. So I want to congratulate them and hoping they're going to be able to come to a future meeting. I'm trying to get that planned. The first game, they got to buy for the first round, and their first game will be on August 16th on ESPN. So please tune in.
So exciting. And just as a sidebar, the Elmhurst U14 team came in second. We could go into a whole lot about that. Hinsdale and Elmhurst. Okay, so I had Member Dessert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Under new business, I would really like to let staff know and also my fellow board members know that Member Augustin and I are fully supportive of this. Children, mental health, two of the biggest issues we face. And we are very supportive of this, and I hope that you guys will be too. Nick, I don't know if it would come out of ARPA interest or if we have any ARPA. I don't think we have any ARPA dollars left. But Member Augustin, this is District 5, and I know she joins me in support of this. Thank you.
Member Eckhoff, tall guy in the back.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. Number one, we had a citizen to be heard who spoke about the senior freeze, and I was hoping somebody on staff or the state's attorney's office could respond to him and then CC probably all of us.
I think they can, but I can actually tell you that that's a state issue. We don't control that at the county level.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. Yes, it is a state issue, and we do not have any say over the senior freeze.
Right. So if we could send him the letter so he doesn't come back for a third time. He can come back for a third time, but at least he understands what our responsibilities are. Number two, a couple of people talked about the budget that's coming up, and we understand there's going to be some strain on the budget. I just want to remind everyone that public safety is at least my first concern, and I think our first concern, and we've already had reports from the state's attorney's office and the public defender that they need to hire multiple additional people and are having struggles doing that. And I think our sheriff is probably in the same boat of having to hire some extra people. And I think all those people are going to require additional salaries to entice people to come to those jobs. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. And the third thing was we were just talking about mental health. And as I talked to you a couple weeks ago, I'm a supporter of that, but I think one of the things that we need to focus in on is, in addition to talking about how people get treated, we need to talk about how to prevent it. And I bring that up every single time we have a seminar about it. I know you call it education, I call it prevention, so I'll say prevention through education.
Okay. Very, very, very well noted, Member Eckhoff. And if we could prevent it, we would do everything we possibly could. Unfortunately, you cannot prevent it, but we can educate folks so that they take care of their mental health well-being and therefore never face a mental health crisis. So as early as, yes, and absolutely. Okay, anybody else? It's too late for you, Member Heckoff. Anybody else? Okay, I'm informed we do not have any matters before us requiring executive session. I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, all in favor? This meeting is adjourned till Tuesday, August 27th, 2024 at 10 a.m.